Alan Hirsch Advisors, creating aha moments, presents Aha Business Podcasts. We provide opportunities to discover information to help you run your business and guide your decision making. The more you know, the better decisions you make. For more information, log on to alanhirschadvisors.com. I'm your host, Alan Hirsch. Attention business owners. Has your business suffered financially from COVID-19? If so, let us help. I'm Alan Hirsch, a member of Business Coaches Assembled under a grant from the Small Business Breakthrough Executive Team. Our mission is to help business owners who have seen their revenues negatively impacted by 20% or more due to the virus. We can help you recover $50,000 to $70,000 or more of your lost revenue over the next 90 to 120 days. For more information, go to www.ahaonlinelearning.com to receive my book, 45-Minute Breakthroughs. That's go to www.ahaonlinelearning.com. Welcome to today's podcast. My guest tonight, or today, whenever you're going to be watching this podcast, is Jeanette Martin from MYBC Consulting. So welcome to the show.
Hello, Alan. How are you today?
I am fine. You doing okay?
I'm doing phenomenal. So just before we started this, I kind of gave you the setting of where I am in my little cottage and on 5 acres in the forest with the goats and the chickens and the bunnies out the door. So I'm doing very well. So I am incredibly appreciative of sitting down and chatting with you today.
So first question that I always ask, what motivates you to get up in the morning and go to work?
Well, the name of my company. Because, Alan, I live in Langley, British Columbia, which is about 50 kilometers south of Vancouver. And the MYBC, a lot of people might think it stands for My British Columbia. That's way too simple. And I'm a very complex lady. So it stands for Move Your Bum Chum Consulting. So if I don't move my bum and get out of bed in the morning, I'm not helping myself, I'm not helping my clients, and I'm not serving the world. So that's the name of my company that I represent every single moment of my waking breath. So that's what gets me out of the morning is I got to move my bum to get things done.
Absolutely. So how'd you get started?
Well, I give incredible props to big corporation. My background is in, well, if we dial it back to kind of when my first professional career started in the mid 80s is, believe it or not, in 1983, I went to culinary school. At the same time, I was going to be a plus size model because in the 80s, fashion started very prevalent that, hey, we liked clothes, beautiful clothes too. So I graduated with a bunch of size 3s and 2s and 0s on the runway at a very famous modeling school here in Vancouver. And I started getting jobs in the fashion industry, modeling clothes, because back then we still had some people making clothes here in Vancouver at factories. And I was on the runway and I was modeling the clothes, and some of the store managers were like, wow, you really know how to interact with the ladies. Why don't you come and be a part-time salesperson for us? And still going to culinary school at the same time because I have a dad that's a Red Seal chef and I have a younger brother now that's a Red Seal chef. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. And so I started working part-time in a ladies' clothing fashion, and the kind of told my parents, putting the whole culinary school on hold for right now. And when I saw the joy of getting to know women, especially women that weren't happy with the way they were looking, and build relationship and satisfy them and get to know them, I'm like, wow, I like this jam. I like this jazz. I like this. And I quickly moved up in the ranks from what they call a third key position, which is like a supervisor, to an assistant manager, to a manager, to a district manager, for 13 years in retail. In big business, it was Reitman's Dummies, which is a big corporation, big clothing company here in Canada, and was succinctly, if that's the right word, moved through different big retail companies like Sears, like Starbucks, Staples. So I've been trained by the best big box retail. And I'm like, oh, I love this. And I was one of those type of managers that if you said there was a training course available for us managers, I took it. If there was an online product knowledge I could take, I took it in order to put a lot of things in my toolbox, my professional toolbox. So I chose to be that professional salesperson throughout my life. And then in 2014, I'm like, I came into a little bit of money with a settlement. I'm like, I'm 50 years old. I can affect change to the small box retail person or small box business with my big box thinking. And that was the birth of my BC Consulting or MYBC Consulting back in 2014 I love customers, Alan. Like I love that relationship. I love getting to know people. So that's where it started.
Okay. So what do you do by helping these
So what do
customers?
I do? Oh, so what do I do now is I developed a really cool program. Well, two programs, first of all. All my new customers go through what's called the W5 story process. And it's a way for me to get to know them, and it's a way for them to get to know themselves before they start playing on social media. Alan, hands up. How many times have you read something on social media? Then you met the person and you're like, whoa, this isn't in alignment. Or you went to a place of business after you followed them on social media. It's like, you're not being truthful. So I run them through this really cool W5 process. And I do it for free because the more that I get to know people, the more I can refer them. So it's your who, it's your what, it's your where, it's your when, which is my favorite word in the whole wide world, and it's your why. And it's getting them very clear in their story of what they do, where they do it, why they do it, when they do it, so they get imagery to apply a lifting up, which is my second program that I have, which stands for LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Get clear on your intentions, which is your W5 story. Bring in your networks to get your goals in life. So I use the model of Dale Carnegie and how to win friends and influence people. I use his model.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you talked about, which is actually the reverse of what I do, uh,
Oh,
I start with why.
mm. It's interesting. All the books you hear, Simon Sinek, I can never say his last name
Yeah,
properly.
he's not a cynic, but he is Simon Sinek.
Sinek, okay. I believe when you start using social media, Alan, it's the when moments that define your why. It's your when moments that you share out on social media that bring customers into wanting to have that when moment with you, or it's missing in their life. So defining those when moments leads to your why. The why is kind of what I do every day, move your bum chum. The when is what I want my customers to experience with their products and services, or their customers when I do their social media content marketing for them, that they experience. So I love when. I just love the word when.
Well, I think we play with semantics, uh,
Yes.
because I mean I'm a trained why coach. Uh,
Oh, okay.
uh, I've worked with people beyond Simon Sinek's why, but I agree with you. But it's how. It's how you interact with the customer. It's
Right.
how you present your perceived values. Uh,
Exactly.
that attracts customers to your business. So
Absolutely.
when you start with why, and then you talk about how, you don't really talk about what you do,
Oh,
and it can
I
draw
so,
a lot more people to you.
I so agree. And I often say to clients, because my typical client that I love working with is somebody like 40 plus who has had a business, and it's like they need to get onto the social media platforms to share what they do and leverage customers and things like that. Is how do you represent yourself in reality? How are you showing up to the person at the grocery store, at the restaurant? How are you
Yeah,
showing up in life that your people that are out there in your reality, that 1 degree? So when you start bringing that why to social media, no one's going to call BS on you. Because all of a sudden, if you're not a please and thank you person in your reality, and all of a sudden you start saying please and thank you on social media, it's going to come across a little manipulating, a little calculating.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So get right with your reality is my big key message before you start lifting up yourself and others on social media.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. I mean, I during the Corona, I actually wrote this book, 45-minute Breakthroughs, which helps small, mid-sized businesses uh, find $50,000, $100,000 in additional sales uh, through proper marketing, because so many people market the way large companies market. They can throw millions of dollars into marketing their brand, and small companies can't.
No.
So they need to find another way to market their business. So,
Oh, absolutely.
so who should be on LinkedIn? I mean, let's go through some of
Oh,
these channels of marketing. Who should be on LinkedIn and why?
okay. I would say if you're at that 15 years old or 16 years old person, you've kind of got a bit of direction on where your, say, college you're going to go to or your profession you're going to go to be in, get on LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn and start building your living, breathing resume. Anybody who wants to be seen as a thought leader, an expert, a person who wants to connect people, heads of corporations, basically everybody who wants to make a difference in the world needs to be on LinkedIn. I'm really coaching a lot of younger people now because if a well-crafted LinkedIn is done with your courses and patents and whatever you've got going on, I've had people at my age say, hey, Jeanette, I want to work with you. Send me your resume. And I go, plunk, here's my LinkedIn. So who needs to be on LinkedIn is people that want to be represented well in business.
Okay. So how do you use your profile to accomplish what your goals are?
How you use your profile? Use it kind of when you first of all set it up and you pick your name. That's one of the most important things. And you'll notice on mine, we're connected on LinkedIn. So thank you for being a connection on LinkedIn. Is in your name, putting what you want to be known as or you are acceptable as you want to be called. So this past week, I've been coaching some kids at a local college. And I said, if your name is Gabrielle, but it's okay to call you Gabby, so put Gabrielle, bracket, Gabby, whatever your last name is. So then there's a sense of familiarity when we come to reality or do a Zoom now that it's okay for me to call you Gabby. So start with that first one and you'll see Alan in mine. I've got bracket Harvey. That was my maiden name. And I have a lot of college kids or college friends and kids I went to school with that I want to make sure they find the right Jeanette because there's another Jeanette that's a realtor in Texas. So they find the right Jeanette because I kind of changed a little since I was in high school.
Yes.
So starting with that, then underneath, I call it your W5. So those 5 who words that you're known for. So mine is owner of My BC Consulting, creator of the Lift System, author, speaker. So then it's like the titles of a magazine. So Alan, if you envision a magazine, when you create your LinkedIn profile, you're creating the Jeanette Y. Martin, Harvey Martin magazine. And I need the topics on that front page, when you pick up a magazine, that I'm going to be talking about. Always that I'm posting about. So when someone comes to my profile after, say, finding me in the main feed, they can go and look, oh yeah, that's why she's talking about being a business owner. Oh, that's why she's talking, posted about being an author. That's why. So it's kind of that little bit of what you're going to be sharing. The about section is something that's really, I've been told, interesting these days, is it should be in future tense. Putting your accomplishments in there. I went to Harvard and got a 4-point GPA in accounting or lawyer or whatever. Pardon my expression, who gives a rat's poop? Unless you're going, how are you going to use that to bring me along? How are you going to use what you've done to future help your clients? So the about section. And then taking a look at each section where you add it as kind of, okay, how do I have something I can add in there? Do I have something I can put in my background? Do I have something I can put into my volunteering? Do I have something in publication? Is making sure as much of the areas are filled out so you can build commonality. That's the other thing about your profile is sure enough, somebody will reach out to me because I love social media, but what else are we going to talk about? So if they are also worked at or volunteered for Children's Hospital, we can have kind of that conversation.
Yes.
Or if they were part of this, so we have commonality right off the bat, so we can have that conversation as we're working together. And there's lots of opportunity. And one that I missed, I'm going to fully admit, is I've got a couple of publications that I've been featured in a couple of magazines in Canada here for the flooring industry. And under publications, it's like, wow, this past year, I've been on a lot of podcasts. So taking that podcast link that's going to happen after this and putting it in there as this video so people can see me speaking. So if I want to get a speaking gig, so there's tons using it truly as your accomplishments, like your whole little life is up there.
Mm-hmm. So and that's used by businesses to, now, would you modify it to if you're looking for a job versus you're the CEO of a company? Would they be two different
Absolutely.
profiles?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're the CEO of a company, and I've just recently learned this, so you're the CEO of, Bob's Big Boy Plumbing. Okay. I always love using Bob's Big Boy. I just love it the way it sounds. Bob's Big Boy Plumbing is putting your background in there, but then breaking down, they're saying now in the background or the experience is breaking down the succession of your positions. You might have been with Bob's Big Boy Plumbing for 25 years and moved up the ranks. So you can see succession of growth. Mm-hmm. So people then would know if I wanted to apply at Bob's Big Boy Plumbing, oh, look, if I came in as an entry-level clerk, I could move up in the ranks because I keep people around. So perception, the perception of the eyeballs in front of the screen looking at your profile. When you're somebody that's looking for a job, absolutely, is even breaking down and making sure your background has got lots of good stuff that you did. That's where you put what you did and what you can do for a future employee is within that about section. Then the secret is, I don't know if I want to give the secret right now in this part of the interview, but part of it is start showing up on companies' posts that you want to put yourself into. Start plunking yourself into comments so you start to become memorable.
Okay. So, yeah. Let's take a break right here. And when we come back, I'll continue the conversation with Jeanette Martin of MYBC Consulting. I'm Alan Hirsch of Alan Hirsch Advisors, and this is AHA Business Podcast.
Hi, Rick Dempsey here. As a former Oriole and Series MVP, I know a lot about winning and championship teams. Today, I am happy to tell you about my award-winning web design and internet marketing team, Adventure Web Interactive. For over 2 decades, many of Maryland's most successful firms have chosen Adventure Web as their strategic partner for web design and online marketing. I can tell you from using them personally, their search engine optimization and social media programs have saved their clients tens of thousands over the traditional pay-per-click digital agency. Visit adventurewebinteractive.com and listen to what clients such as Hercules Fence, TriStar Electric, ABC Rental, Rhine Landscaping, Markdown's Office Furniture, and many more highly successful firms have to say. And don't forget to tell them Rick Dempsey sent you.
Strengthen, protect, and preserve your retirement nest egg. Scott Garceau here for the Stephen J. Sless Group, Baltimore's reverse mortgage specialist. Reverse mortgages have evolved to become a viable retirement tool. Enjoy retirement without monthly mortgage payments, improve cash flow, pay off debt, and stretch retirement savings. Stephen and his team can offer strategies to make housing wealth work for you. If you're 62 or older, learn if a reverse mortgage could help. Visit reversebaltimore.com.
An equal housing opportunity lender. This is not a commitment to lend. Stephen J. Sless, NMLS 298581. PRMI NMLS 3094.
Welcome back to today's show. My guest, Jeanette Martin from MYBC Consulting. I think I got that right. Uh, Thank you for being here. And we've been talking about LinkedIn. And one of the things that people have problems with is trying to connect and link to other business executives. So, what is your philosophy on that?
Well, there's the magic of the search bar up at the top left-hand corner. And that's where you would start and put in those topics that you're interested or those executives that you're looking for to work with and start connecting correctly. There is a social media etiquette that I follow and that I would love everybody to follow. And that's, first of all, say that Bob's Big Boy Plumbing, it's Bob Plumber that has that company. I search for him. I take a look and up comes his profile. And you'll see always that little button on the right that says connect. You never push that button. Why? To me, that's like I went to a chamber meeting because I knew Bob Plummer was going to be there and I want to find him to be an employee of his. I saw his name tag and I walked up to him and I poked him in the head and went, connect with me. Because automatically that just says connect and you get that notification that we all have gotten in LinkedIn. There's no note attached to it. It's like, who is this person? The proper social media etiquette on LinkedIn, to me for anything, but on LinkedIn, is go over to the person's profile. You then take a look. Do you really want to work for Bob Plummer? And you investigate, you do your work. You look at his profile, look at what you could have in commonality. So then on his profile, sure enough, that little connect button is there or more. Sometimes it's hiding in there. You go down and you hit connect. Up will pop a screen that says connect, add a personal note. You click the personal note and you have 4 opportunities to connect with him. Number 1 is person to person. When you dug into his profile, does he know somebody that you know that could help your credibility in sending a message to him? So you would do person to person. Hi, I see you're connected to Jeanette Martin of IBC Consulting. She's an amazing person. I'd love to add you as a connection. You're pumping me up. You're using me, but you're using me in a kind way. Connect in kindness or whatever your salutation, kindness, regards. Okay. Place to place. Oh, I see that you're in New Westminster. I live in Coquitlam, which is where I live, a city close by. Place to place or location to location. Love to connect with you. Situation to situation. That means something within his profile you've done together or in the past. And the last one, which is the most magical one right now, is, Ellen, how many times have you been on a Zoom and people go, put your information in the chat box? Well, the chat box is the new business card. So now what you want to do is go on event or where you met the person and go, hey, Alan, I met you at Team Referral Gathering Network. Love to connect with you. Wasn't that presentation by somebody? Loop them back to where they met you or the breakout. Love to connect with you. That's the proper way to start a business relationship. The next key piece is, of course, when it gets accepted, you get notification in your inbox. My favorite thing to do is say, hi, Alan, thank you so much for connecting with me. What are the top 3 things I need to know about your business today? Get them talking. It's about them. On LinkedIn, it's about them. So that's how I start building relationships.
I like to say, no matter where they are, it's about them.
Absolutely.
It's not about me.
Yes.
It's about them.
It's about them and
what they need, what they want, and then you sell it to them.
Absolutely. We're on the same path.
Right.
And then to go farther into actually utilizing the main feed, there's a whole other, again, social media etiquette in building those relationships on somebody else's post. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, it's so is there anything else about LinkedIn? I mean, if you're trying to get a client or sell your services, that's different than if you're trying to find a job.
Absolutely. The key piece that I love to use is remember the mindset of the human being in front of the desktop or their phone is in an inquiry-based mindset. People come on to LinkedIn not to get away from their icky life, like on Facebook. They come to be inspired. They come to be connected. They come to be, where can I plunk my expertise or my opinion or my something on somebody else's comments? So the mindset is inquiry-based. And also people will tend to spend a lot more time on LinkedIn posts because I use it like my magazine. I use it like my newspaper in the morning. So my post can be a little bit bigger, as well as I can be a little bit more structured in my comments back in order for me to either give accolades to someone or go, wow, that was so inspiring. Where did you find that information? To start building dialogue within the comments, because we got to, first of all, get to them till we get to we and work together.
Okay. So that's the main structure of LinkedIn. Is there anything else on LinkedIn you want to talk about before we move on to Instagram?
Oh, absolutely, because it leads to Instagram. There's 2 emojis on LinkedIn that are the most powerful emojis in the whole wide world. We all know the thumbs up. We all know celebrate. There's the support. There's the love. They now have a light bulb and they now have a curious emoji. If somebody puts a light bulb or a curious emoji on your post, that's them. They spent the time reading it, and that was the emotion they exchanged. So those are 2 of the biggest lead generators on LinkedIn, because if someone went insightful, coming back and seeing who gave you that insightful and going, oh, Sally Smith, thank you for having a light bulb moment or an insightful moment about my post about blah. What did you find insightful? You get to check for understanding. If somebody gives you a curious, it's like, uh-oh, I didn't tell enough information. I didn't add enough. Oh, they're curious and want more. It's like them walking into the store, your store, place of business, is going, wow. Would you let them stand there? No, you walk up and you go, you look like you're curious. I've never seen you here before. So it's applying what reality looks like. And those are the 2 most powerful emojis right now.
Okay. So how does that lead into Instagram?
Okay. The mindset of the person that uses Instagram is visual. My view in front of me right now is stinking. I'm tired. I'm never tired of looking at all my art that I've traveled from all over the world in my little cottage here. But my view is not, I need a different picture in my face right now. So people, the mindset is visual. So your visual learner uses Instagram a lot. Your visual customer, the person that needs to see it in action, not as many words, excite me. So it kicks the dopamine, that feel-good hormone, fastest out of all the social media platforms. Because when you visually cue, you either kick the dopamine or the serotonin in the person to kick the adrenaline, your adrenals. This is the magic. This is the magic that I love to share. And people are like, ooh, think about it. We don't do anything, right, Alan, without adrenaline. We don't move in this world. We don't move. We don't go for a walk with a little shot of adrenaline to keep ourselves going. Well, when they read your post, the adrenaline said, hey, Jeanette, pick up your arm, pick up your finger and give that person some love. So it's all done very automatically because something, the dopamine kicked the adrenals to kick my hand. So think about this. You gave me some love. That means they had, again, an emotional response to whatever you put out there. And we know in the business process, the sales process, start with emotion and then bring your prospective client along in their learning style, auditory, kinetic, or visual. It's so important on Instagram to evoke emotion in order to get motion in your business. So calling out the hearts, there's the magic thing, is when you're on Instagram, you can see how many hearts. They used to give you a total, which was, they don't do that anymore. You just have to hit that more button to see. Well, here, you wanna know the real magic? I'm all about magic and simplicity. Okay, Alan, we've been in business a long time, right? We've both been in business for
longer.
Okay. So do you remember back in the day when I looped back, I was in fashion, back in the mid 80s, that the black book on a customer, when you created the black book on a customer, they now call it the CRM system or your customer relationship management system. That especially in fashion, when I knew that the lady liked black pants and yellow, and what she did on the weekend with her kids, what she did for galas and vacation. So when that particular item came in, it matched her life. And she was just like, how did you remember that I liked yellow and my true size is a 16, but I tell my husband it's at 12. And they would come in, and whether it looked a lot of times not great, but they were so impressed that you remember most times you made the sale or they bought something else. Well, now on Instagram, Alan, guess what we do? We leave our whole life in pictures on Instagram. So when somebody gives you a heart on a post, clicking on their name and looking at their profile, most times it's not private with people because they want to be seen. That's why we use social media. And if you can see in their pictures, their life, your product or service could fit into their life, a when moment in their life, how about coming back and saying at whatever the person's name is, thank you for giving me a heart on the post about whatever the post was about. What was it about it that spurred you to share the love?
Okay.
Okay.
So, yes. So how important is Instagram to selling, promoting to, and I don't even know the demographics of the user, but I believe it's younger. A lot of people have abandoned Facebook and gone to Instagram, particularly the millennials, because they think their parents have taken over Facebook.
Oh, but they're coming back in a unique way, a really unique way that I'm very impressed with. So when we start chatting about Facebook, I'll talk to you about the mindset.
We're almost running out of time. So,
oh my gosh.
So what are they coming back to Facebook about?
They're coming back to Facebook because Facebook, I find, is the warm and squishy social media. So I go onto Facebook because, again, my life is either stinking or my life is being amazing, and I want to post out to the world, to my friends and family, because remember, it's geared upon friends, not connections, business connections. It's geared upon friends, and I'm a lot more warm and squishy with my friends than I am with my business associates. So the mindset, I come on to take a look at my friends. This was before, in the last year. We all know what happened in the last year. Facebook got a little toxic in some of the posting. Well, it's kind of changed back, which is amazing. Is now what's happening is people are coming on in the private group. When you can curate your friends, family, and business associate in one area away from the clutter of the main feed, you have a better chance of building authentic relationship. The other thing to remember too is I have a business page on Facebook, and I've got people that follow my business page. I've got 1,400, 1,500 followers on my business page. But when I'm coming onto Facebook, I'm looking at my groups. I'm looking at my friends because I'm not having a great day and I need a little uplift. If the business pages that I follow, come into my feed or I get alerted, if it isn't a nice, warm, squishy, make me happy kind of post, I'm not interested, because think of the mindset. So that's why the private group, where you can curate what you're all about in relationship and ask those questions deeper. So now I come on and I'm about my groups, I'm about the businesses, then I'm about my friends.
Okay. So how does this all relate to Twitter?
Twitter is, to me, I use it as the modern day headliner. It's an opportunity to put up, because you only have, I think, 230 characters, like a headline. I'll use my Twitter. 140, yeah. So they were talking about doing it more, and then they brought it back to 140. It's an opportunity to kind of put a big headline, then a URL directing traffic back to a blog, back to, an Etsy, or back to a Shopify, or back to a Facebook, or back to a LinkedIn. So it's kind of a director. but it's also an amazing opportunity to start incredible dialogue, as we all know. So Alan, if you like, I tagged you into a Twitter post today that it was going to be on your show. And then it gives an opportunity for us to carry on a real conversation with real people. And the other key piece about Twitter and LinkedIn is the people never give their voice away. So if I tagged in Alan, I'm going to get Alan. I'm not going to get Alan's people. I'm going to get Alan talking. Where if I tagged Alan on Instagram and Facebook, a lot of handlers, a lot of people of influence have handlers there. And I'm not going to get the real voice. Nobody, as we all know, on Twitter in this past 4 years, gives away their voice to somebody that's not them. So that's what I love about Twitter. Number one, quick headlines, directing, and real life conversations.
Okay, well, you've given me some insights, and I hope you've given our listeners some wonderful insights for the last 40 minutes of conversation. It's been delightful. So how can our listeners reach you?
Well, you can move your bum chum and find me at mybcconsulting.com, as well as moveyourbumchum.com. I am on LinkedIn, Jeanette Y Harvey Martin. I'm on Instagram, MyBC Consulting. Follow me personally, Jeanette or MY Jeanette on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on YouTube, and out there. And my kind of parting shot that I will, or parting wisdom, is please use these social media platforms to apply a lifting up to others first. If you've got an opportunity to tag a business, so you've had a great meal, this is how we're going to change our economy, is put up a picture that you had a great burger at Bob's Big Boy Burger down the street. So he's going to make maybe a little bit more money so he can hire somebody. So this is how we can use these social media platforms for good. Apply a lifting up.
Well, thank you very much for being my guest. Jeanette, thank you very much. I'm Alan Hirsch of Alan Hirsch Advisors, your host. To reach me, visit my website, www.ahaonlinelearning.com. You can register to get my book, 45-Minute Breakthroughs. You can listen to the podcast of past shows wherever you get your podcast by subscribing to AHA Business Podcast. You may email me at allanhirsch@advisors.com. I'm Alan Hirsch, and this has been an AHA Business Podcast.